Hello, this is John Maddox with the updated workout. And I just want to remind people that I do have this other platform, which is called communityreviews.org, which is pretty cool, which is growing like crazy. So if you want to know what's really going on, please go to that platform. So if you want to learn about the Tartarians, yeah, podcast 42 is pretty cool. And I got the whole history of when the Earth got rebooted, which is pretty fun too. So anyways, this is my first week back. I know last week I put out kind of what happened at the meet. And, now that I've had a chance to really think about it a little bit, I really can't feel bad. I mean, I had an infection in my ear, which was, making it tough for me that day. And plus I hadn't deadlifted off the floor in a year and a half. And I just entered a deadlift meet, and I still found a way to leverage up 655 pounds at the age of 58. So I really can't complain about that. So coming into this week, I felt pretty good. I wasn't really sure. When you have something like that happens where you're expecting to do better than what you do, sometimes that can weigh on you a little bit. But when I came in here on Tuesday to squat, I literally crushed my squats. I mean, I did 6 plates, which is because I have a 50-pound bar that I use. So it's 590 pounds. I squatted it the fastest I've ever squatted in my life. I literally came down and then I came up, and then next thing you know, I was racking it. I mean, I didn't feel a resistance at any part of that squat. And even at the top, I think I might have growled a little bit because it was so easy. And then I went right up to 680 and did my negative, and that's starting to feel really, really good. So I may, like this upcoming week here, I may try to maybe even set up a little bit more for 680 and try to start squatting this thing now. My goal right now is to squat 680 because, once I hit 680 and 705 is around the corner, that's my all-time goal, is to get that out of the way. Because I'm 58, almost 58 and a half now. And the deadlift record for someone at the age of 60, I believe it's 7. This is raw. Whenever I say a record, it's always raw. And I do not do raw with knee wraps. When I talk raw, it's raw, normally raw. All right. Knee wraps to me is still equipment. There's people who can get 100 pounds on a knee wraps. It just depends on your leverages, 80 to 100 pounds. So that's why they use them. So to me, I want to know what people can lift raw. To me, that tells you their true strength. The equipment can really help, especially certain people, certain body types can get even more leverage out of them. And I believe the squat record is like around 705 too. I have to pull that list up. I haven't looked at it in a while. But I think that was with knee wraps. So, and I know David Ricks, he's been doing some meets since he's been 60. And he's put up some really nice numbers, like, mid-4 benches, over 600, both in the squat and the dead. So, I mean, he's still kicking butt in his 60s. I haven't seen anything from Tony Harris in a while. I mean, hopefully Tony Harris, may pop back up again. So it's good to see, these old school guys still going at it. I think Tony Harris is about a year and a half, 2 years older than I am. So he's got to be 60 already. So maybe he'll pop up here to do something at the age of 60. And, obviously you got Mark Felix out there, Andy Bolton, you have Nick Best, who could, probably still do something here. I mean, I saw him, he was doing something with Brian Shaw. I mean, his freaking arm looked like it was 24 inches around. I mean, the dude is still huge. So I'm sure he's still planning on doing something at some time when, and who knows what these guys are doing in the back of their heads because they have channels. Right. And they got to always create content for their channel. So I got to imagine they're still going to show up at meets. He's still going to do things. I've actually haven't been on his channel in a while to see what he's actually been up to. I just saw that video of him hanging out with Brian. I just couldn't believe how big Nick Best was. And so like me, I'm weighing right now the heaviest I've ever weighed in my life. I weighed in at that meet. I weighed in the day before, so I had the opportunity to eat 3 meals before I weighed in. And I weighed 268 pounds. That was what I weighed in at. So obviously, if I would have came in the morning, it would have still been over 260. And I think I told people my goal was to get over 260. So I believe I have accomplished that goal. I'm someone who's very goal-oriented. So I'm not someone who's financially motivated. I'm someone who's goal-oriented. So like me, I have 5 degrees past college. Past high school. So 2 associates, bachelor's, a master's, and a graduate certificate degree. It's because in my profession, I wanted to be as good as I could be at what I do as a CPA. So I have 2 degrees in taxation. I have 2 degrees in business. So, I build websites for fun. So now I got communityreviews.org. So this is like what I really like to do as a hobby is build websites. Doing it for more than 25 years. It's a lot of fun. And lifting, trying to see how strong I can get, and trying to push myself, especially, as I get older here and the challenges that I have with getting older, visit your shoulders bugging you, like I just had something I woke up Thursday morning, my hip's killing me. So it looks like something might have shifted in my lower back, putting pressure on my hip. So Dennis luckily could, see me, you know, and on Thursday afternoon, and we tried to, look at it, see what we could do. I got up on Friday, it felt a little better. I still went to the gym. I actually had a really good, um, bench workout. I mean, I went up to 300, and I haven't benched in a couple of weeks. So I went up, hit 300, and then went to 365 for the board, which is A2 board. I blew 365 like it was nothing. And I was very happy about that. Didn't do any bent rows though, because my hip wasn't feeling happy. Just did, regular lat pull downs. And then I did the rest of my, upper body stuff. So yeah, so my bench felt good and my squat felt good, and I haven't trained in weeks. So you remember, I stressed you guys. It's, your body needs to recuperate. And as long as you're eating, right, don't drop off your calories. You drop off your calories, you're going to get weaker. So, body weight's everything. If you want to get strong, if you want to lift big weights, body weight is leverage. People need to understand that. And one of the things I changed up on Tuesday, is, after I squatted, instead of going to the higher, this mid shin or higher, lockouts, what I decided to do was do some really wide stance good morning. I'm trying to play around with what I can do to train my lower back with this hip issue that I still have. And like I said, it just went crazy on Thursday morning. And today it's feeling a little better. It feels like whatever in my back that popped out feels like it's kind of in place, but it depends what I do. If I do certain things, it irritates it again. So I'm going to see Zwang Monday morning, get that in place. So that's why I see two professionals. Zwang's the chiropractor. He's the one that does my decompression work. He's the one that helps just keep things in line. He'll check things on my feet to make sure they're in line. And then Dennis is the one that just works with my sacrum and my hip and the inflammation. And so that I make sure that those are where they need to be. I'll see him on Monday afternoon. So because my goal is to come here on Tuesday. And like I said, my goal now is I'm really going to start being aggressive here and trying to squat the 680, and then this next squat workout, there is no lower back work. Remember, I'm doing that every other week. So I'm not going to do my deadlift assistant stuff until the following week. All right. So this first week back though, after doing the standing good mornings, right, I was able to do it without really getting any issues with the hips shutting me down. And then I supersetted that with a super wide stance sumo deadlift, even wider than I attempted to do at the meet on July 20th, just to practice the form, right? To start working that position, because going wider actually allowed me to stay upright. See what happened at the meets, I hadn't deadlifted in a year and a half off the floor. I wasn't familiar with the leverage once I got it off the floor until I got it to that mid shin, that little bit of a range in there. So my hips would come up, and that's what was creating my problem. So now what I'm going to do is on one of my deadlift workouts, I'm going to practice actually sumo deadlifting every week, right? And do these standing good mornings. And then the other week, I'm going to do what I've been doing all along, right? So not this upcoming Tuesday, but the following week, I'll do the high, mid shin to high pulls. So, and I did shrug, this Tuesday. And what I did, instead of going so crazy heavy right now, since I don't really have a meet in mind, I was just doing reps 10. So I went up to 675 pounds, and I did 10 reps in the shrug. And so make sure I keep that strength, and make sure I work on my grip. So I was really hitting my grip pretty hard this week too. So like I said, I do work a lot of stuff. I mean, I like using the glute ham, which I did use this week. And next week I do the hip thrust, right? So because I'm not doing any of the, lower back work, any of the deadlift type work. And I will not shrug next week, right? So this upcoming week, there is no shrugging. Shrugging's every other week, just like when I'm doing my deadlift works every other week. So, but I will use the glute ham, because glute ham's awesome. And so hopefully my hip will, after I see these guys on Monday, rolling into Friday next week, hopefully I'll be able to do some bent rows. I haven't bent rowed in a while, and I really do like to bent row. As I've, along with this journey here, I've gotten my biggest bent row ever, which is 510 pounds. And I would really like to do around 545, 550. So, hopefully that will come over time. And so, like I said, for this week, I really can't complain. I came in strong. That the infection that I had at the meet is gone. I squatted 6 plates. It's the easiest I've ever done in my life. I mean, it felt like 500 pounds. It felt like nothing. So I was really happy with that. And like I said, my bench was very strong too. But I just got to get this information on my hip, keep everything together, right? Hope I don't fall apart here. And then I'll start, maybe looking out in the future, see what's coming in early next year in January for some type of a meet that I can do. It's not too far away. I really hate traveling. That's what I hate about doing meets, because when you got to eat and you got to get on a plane and you got to pack the stuff and you have to cook, just adds so much additional work to what you're trying to do. What was nice about the meet in the high was only 4 hours. So it's perfect timing. You eat one meal, you leave, you get there, it's time for you to eat the next one. And so it makes planning your day, much easier. So maybe the next meet I do it in Michigan. It just all depends where it's going to be. I don't have a problem going out to Chicago. And I know Art's got a meet coming up in November, but I don't know if that meet's going to work for me. And it's close to the elections. Who knows how crazy things are going to be then? All these cyber attacks that are happening. Who knows what they're going to do, if they're going to try to shut down the elections, which what they sounded like they're going to try to do, try to delay them. So it's going to be interesting. But anyways, this week was really good. Coming back, and I'm very strong and I'm very happy. I'm really looking forward to next week. So everybody have yourself a great day.